People have been telling the story of the Count of Saint Germain for hundreds of years. But how much is true? Well, let's start with the languages. The legends claim he fooled native speakers. Not true. When English authorities arrested him in 1745, they noticed his English was broken. He spoke French with a Piedmont accent. That's somewhere near France, Italy, up that area. Now, King Louis was taken with him, but the king wasn't a deep thinker. His own doctor called Saint Germain a quack.
Doctors hate anyone who can cure things without a copay.
The king's chief minister ordered the count's arrest. That's why he left France, not to go on some diplomatic mission to avoid the law. When Saint Germain turned Casanova's coin into gold, it wasn't alchemy. It was close-up magic, sleight of hand. And Casanova admitted the count was brilliant, but he recognized a fellow con man when he saw one.
Yay, game recognized game. Saint Germain had style. Casanova just had a bunch of STDs.
That's true, actually.
Saint Germain turned coins into gold. Casanova just turned relationships into awkward doctor visits.
Now, the king's diamond repair was also likely a switch. Flawed stone in, different stone out. The king's mistress examined the count's gems and laughed. She said they were all very pretty, but they were all obviously fake. Even Voltaire's famous quote about the man who never dies was sarcasm. The countess who recognized him from 50 years prior, well, she was nearly 90 years old and senile. Saint Germain himself pointed this out, but the legend stuck anyway. He was one to build on his own story. And Richard Chanfray's television transmutation, that was also stage magic. Chanfray was a professional entertainer. He used a hollowed-out piece of charcoal with gold inside, and it was sealed with black wax. When the wax burned off, only the gold was left. The count's final stop was Prince Charles's castle in Germany, and the prince noted that Saint Germain wasn't a youthful adventurer, but a small, gray-haired man in his 90s. The post-death sightings come from anonymous theosophy writings. The Marie Antoinette accounts can't be verified. Jacques Saint Germain in New Orleans is folklore. There's no eyewitness accounts, no police records. Guy Ballard in Mount Shasta? Well, he's a convicted fraudster who plagiarized his teachings from science fiction novels. The best theory is simple. Saint Germain was the illegitimate son of an Italian princess. This explains the specific accent and his familiarity with languages like Italian and French. He was a brilliant man who used charm to befriend wealthy patrons, but when the money ran out, he died alone. But here's what bothers me about that neat little explanation. When Saint Germain died, the important items were missing. He played the violin, but there was no violin, no personal letters, no trinkets from his adventures, no money. Like he was covering his tracks. Now, the count's death is documented, but his grave was destroyed and his body never recovered. The church records still exist, and researchers have requested access over the years. Some requests are granted, but others aren't, and nobody really knows why. Maybe it's just bureaucracy, or maybe someone decided that certain details about the Count of Saint Germain are better left unexamined. Because that's what you do, isn't it? If you were immortal? If you'd learn that the only way to survive forever was to make sure that no one could ever prove you existed, you'd vanish completely, and then you'd start again and again, somewhere else, someone new. The story of the Count of Saint Germain is probably debunked, but I will admit there's a part of me that hopes that he's out there somewhere, playing the violin, telling stories at dinner parties, sipping his elixir, and waiting for yet one more chance to step in and change the course of history.